We eat, breathe, think in color. We talk in color too. You just asked me, would you want a black coffee? A Black Friday sale.
India's personality, if you were to put a color to it, what color would it be and why? Color of the year. Who decides that? Is it done more culturally or is it data backed?
I can use so many colors in a space and yet you will not feel overwhelmed. You will feel more calmer. But what we do is we are the specialist relating to our famous Asian paint ad called Mera Wala Pink.
Yeah.
It's not that the lady did not know what color she wants. She did not know what shade of pink she wants.
For us, certain colors have certain meanings.
Correct.
White is for mornings, red is for weddings, new beginnings.
Yes.
However, the West is completely opposite.
Correct.
And we're adopting a lot of the West color profiles, color schemes as well. What do you think? Are we doing something wrong? Are there similarities in the thought process? Mamta Khubani, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
I want to start with the question, why color consultancy?
I think we all eat, breathe, sleep color and yet sort of ignore it so much. As a child, I always loved coloring. As an architect and an interior designer, I always loved using colors. So I wanted to find out what is the logic, what is the science behind it. And I did find that in 2019 while unfortunately being on bed. And from there, the journey has been beautiful, coloring people's homes with logic. Up until then, I used to use a lot of colors, but that was more gut-based, instinct-based, project-based, so on and so forth. But yes, since I learned the art of color psychology, applied color psychology to be precise, is where I started enjoying using colors more. I can use so many colors in a space and yet you will not feel overwhelmed. You will feel more calmer and more at peace.
Okay.
And I think that's what I enjoy doing. That's my way of giving back to the society, I guess, where I wanted to do something. I always kept thinking, what's my purpose in life? And I always realized as an architect, मैं ऐसा क्या कर सकती हूँ कि that will look like कि I'm giving back to you. But I think now with colors, the more I study, the more I read, the more I experiment, the more I try with every project, I feel I'm able to create spaces where people are able to connect with themselves.
Fantastic.
Connect with their roots, and I enjoy it.
So it's a very unconventional sort of approach, right?
Yes.
Like you would not have heard a lot of color consultants which are out there.
Yes.
Having said that, there are so many parallels that you can draw in the interior space where color plays such an important role. Can you tell me what made you think of this and what is the importance of colors in interiors?
If you realize, like I said, one of my statements was we eat, breathe, think in color. We talk in color too. You just asked me, would you want a black coffee? A Black Friday sale, right? I can go on and on with this. One of my favorites is he or she has shown his true colors.
Yes.
Right? You wouldn't sleep on a black bed sheet. You wouldn't eat blue food. You wouldn't take a drink which is maybe black or you don't know what it is. So you judge everything by the color, and yet we sort of ignore it. We don't want to acknowledge the importance of it. The combinations play a very important role. If you see in nature, if I was to say a black and a yellow, it's a sign of a danger, right? But a lot of time I see people wearing that, not subconsciously realizing what they're trying to portray or associate with. Yes. So I just wanted to understand that that's so important. Like my favorite line, and I'm saying it on the podcast, it'll go to a lot of people. I hope I know they'll remember me by this. From the color of our coffee in the morning to the color of our potty.
Yes.
Everything is color.
It's full circle.
It's a full circle.
Yes.
But yet we don't give it that importance.
Colorful full circle.
Colorful full circle, yes. And yet we don't give it importance. We feel that color is cheap, color is passe, anything that you're doing it, It's not. From the culture that we come from, if you realize, can you imagine your Diwali without color?
Yeah, no.
Right?
Yeah.
Can you imagine your Holi without color? You name a festival and it is colorful.
Yeah.
And yet we are trying to adapt the West where they live in a certain neutral environment. Neither do our genes come from there, our lineage comes from there, nor do our subconscious brains come from there. Nothing in us as Indians or as Asians say that we can live without color.
It's like only having salt and pepper in your food.
There you go.
And no spice.
No spices. Even our spices are colorful for that matter. Imagine your food without those colorful spices. So everything is color, then why not give it its due credit and due importance? Why the speciality? Because I studied architecture. I knew in class 5 I wanted to be an architect, which is a little strange.
Fairly early.
Fairly early, for the reason being I used to love to sketch, and I was very good at it. And when my mother would say choose a career, take up a profession, I would think painter ban ke to paise nahi milenge, so let me take up something. And back then in the late 90s, interior designing wasn't much popular as architecture, and then you probably specialize into interiors. So I very well knew I wanted to be an architect. Then my first project, being F Bar Ashoka, is where I experimented with lights and colors and different colored lights, so on and so forth. So many colors there. Is where I realized that this is my passion and this is what I like. Fast forward 2019 is, like I said, unfortunately, after having met with an accident, I kept looking for something related to colors. And like they say, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. I found I did my first course from an Australian Open University. And then I found my teacher, who's based in London. And there are very few people in the world who follow applied color psychology. So she taught me that, and with open arms in the COVID times, she took me in. And from a Britisher who doesn't even give you 5 minutes extra, she would give me 2 hours extra and taught me. She still holds my hand, I would say. But yes, so applied color psychology, just for everybody listening, the difference is, if you have a headache, you probably take aspirin or a Combiflam. And if it persists, then you go to a specialist. Similarly, color psychology is something which says red is for this, blue is for this, green is for this. But what we do is, we are the specialist relating to our famous Asian paint ad called Meera Wala Pink. It's not that the lady did not know what color she wants. She did not know what shade of pink she wants. So all of us are different personalities. So we choose the right color for you, right shade for you, and then combine it in the right way so that it affects who you are or who your family member or a better half is.
You said all these colors have a specific sort of emotional triggers in your brain, right?
Yes.
How do you as a color consultant tap into that?
So our basic process is we ask you a lot of psychosomatic questions, because what we are trying to do is we are trying to build the gap between need and want, who you are and who you want to be. Whether you're making your office, whether you're making your house or any space. In today's Instagrammable world, we focus on what we need to be portrayed as and not who we are. So we have a set of psychosomatic questions which vary from a person to person and a space to space. So I'll be asking you those questions, and funnily those questions are nothing related to colors or interiors. So even if you're trying to pretend to be somebody, you cannot be with me. So that's a sort of a magic. Who you are, what you eat, how you choose your colors, how you choose your clothing colors, how you entertain, how you solve a problem, what's your routine, how do you speak to your people, from your friends to family to etc. You don't know what you're asking, so you'll answer who you are or what you do, correct or not. So from that we divide the categories into broad 4 categories, and then the subcategories is another 8 categories. So we have set traits for those categories. So then there are cooler colors and warmer colors.
Okay.
I wouldn't give out my all my
of
my
course, all your trade secrets.
But yes, so broadly we divide them, and this what I'm going to say is not a trade secret. So my 4 categories are spring, summer, autumn, winter.
Okay.
And it has nothing to do with whether you like summers or whether you like winters, but it has everything to do with what happens in nature at that point. Just to give you a few pointers, if you like a winter personality, you would probably like straight, modern, minimalistic, geometric patterns. If you're an autumn personality, which I am, I'm a very warm person. In terms of I would want people. I'm an extrovert. I can make friends like this. Then I'd like brickworks. I'd like everything that I have in. I don't like to keep things in the wardrobe. I'll want them displayed, that when you come in, you see my books, you see my walls, you see my artifacts. So that's autumn. They like fireplaces, small cozy cottages. When you come to summer, it's like you see what happens in summer is a sort of an haziness.
Okay.
Right. So are the colors. They are muted palettes, the pastel shades.
Okay.
So you like the wicker furniture with gilded finishes.
Right.
What do you see in Buckingham Palace is exact a summer personality. Very introvert sort of a thing. ज़्यादा बोलेंगे नहीं. I call them arrogant. I know अब तो मैं शक्ल देखकर बता देती हूँ ये क्या होगा. But so those are summer personalities. So there are set of colors. There are set of interior elements or materials that go with it. And then comes last spring. Which is as you see what happens right after winter, there is a chirpiness in the weather, right? There is the flowers come out, they're nice, bright, everything is blossoming. So those colors only. Those are the warmer yellow based shades, but with no hint of black in it. So those are those bright colors that would bring up the energy of a child, or just like a child's energy,
like new beginnings.
So what those kind of people, what they like is bay windows, French windows. They would want their outside to come inside, just as you want the nature to come inside. So it's everything that is happening in the nature is what you like. So but the minute I ask you, would you like a bay window, you may say no, I don't. I'm like a I like modern finishes. But that's not who you are. And I'm no mental therapist, but if you being a spring personality stay in a winter house, you will feel depressed.
And can you be a blend of
you can, of course. It's human brain. You can, as human brain is a very, very complex creature, as I call it. And you cannot be an exact personality. You will always be a blend. And let's say if you have a better half, and then we are making your bedroom, so she will also be 2 personalities. So then there is a way that we combine, overlap the colors. We understand who uses the space more. What is the behavior that you expect out of a space. So there's a long process.
And in this specific scenario, opposites attract, make your job harder than
very hard. Yes, very hard.
So coming to what you just said about your questions that you ask and the questionnaire that you have, it goes back to the first statement that you made, that everyone thinks, speaks and talks in color. So perhaps all those elements define what sort of color you're thinking in, and who you associate with, right? Coming to the India is a very colorful country. Everything that we associate with colors, like the festivals, Diwali and Holi you mentioned, but for us, certain colors have certain meanings.
Correct.
White is for mornings, red is for weddings, new beginnings. However, the West is completely opposite.
Correct.
And we're adopting a lot of the West color profiles, color schemes as well. What do you think? Are we doing something wrong? Are there similarities in the thought process?
No, they aren't. And it feels very sad because when I meet a lot of architects also these days, they tell me that we have decided that this client needs to have a Scandinavian house. I don't land up working with them essentially because how can I decide what you need to eat, wear, sleep, etc., right? I always thought architecture and interior designing is a very noble profession where I need to understand your needs and give you a solution like that. Of course, I'm not going to get into that. That's a different subject. But until I'm not involved and understand who you are as a person, if I randomly apt as like, if I was to give you these colored glasses, they look beautiful on me. You'll probably look like a clown.
Yeah.
Correct or not?
Yeah.
And it's not for any other reason. You're a different person.
One shoe fits all doesn't apply
at all. You in your place also when people come for fabric selection. It cannot be that you can give the same beige also to 5 different people, right? So then why are we apting to the West blindly? Like you gave a beautiful example. Usually I give that example because we forget that we associate with colors in 3 ways. And one of this is color in culture. Right, we are trying to neither do a climate support nor does our subconscious mind like a lineage supports. हम कहीं से आते वो राजा महाराजाओं के टाइम से ही हैं. Can you show me one single palace, fort, anything which doesn't have a color, which is a neutral space? You won't be able to. If their spaces were neutral, their tapestry will be beautiful, loud colors. Their clothing would be that loud colors, right? Or they would be playing with the stained glass. So how is it that we are apting to that? Our climate doesn't support the white colors. Our teachings don't support those things. So like I said, you gave a beautiful example. We wear white as for mourning, and they wear it as the new beginning.
I know.
So can you imagine the difference in our brains only, right? There is a reason why you and I were born in this country, and there is a reason, this is a little spiritual, but there is a reason why we were born here and why we were not born in the West. And color in culture is one, and then is also color associations. A lot of time we forget that I might hate a certain red because I might have had an accident in a car, or my car would have hit a red.
Subconsciously you register
that. Yes. And similarly it goes. So I'm not doing therapy again, but when I sit down with a client, I ask them, are there any color preferences that you have? So a lot of time people will say, वो emerald green होता है ना, वो use मत करना. Lands up that they were a naughty child and their coat color was emerald green, and they always got scolded. So like for me, when I've been brought up in Chandni Chowk, my school was there. So there is a specific green there which is in dominance. For the longest time, I couldn't use that green in my projects because I realized I've seen so much of it, you know, in and around when I would go with my father in Chandni Chowk. My school was also there. That it subconsciously told me कि नहीं ये बहुत use हो गया है, नहीं करना. Until I met my teacher and she said, gave me the logic. Now I'm wearing green shoes. Right? So we help people in understanding why they don't like a certain color or why they are obsessed with a certain color. We don't mind incorporating that until it serves the behavior that I want to create in that space.
Fair. My next question, because we're talking about colors and associations, India's personality, if you were to put a color to it, what color would it be and why?
You know, for me, I'd put 2 colors to it. One is magenta. If you realize, or what we call it as the Rani color. And of course, saffron and yellow. Because any festival you see, any good occasion you see, you'll always see gende ka phool, which is orange and yellow. Right? So that's like happiness, that's like auspiciousness, that's like new beginning for us in so many ways, unknowingly. And similarly goes for magenta. Magenta carries a very different meaning for me. It's one step short of red, which is for me a very feminine color, but showing my bold personality or any woman's bold personality. So it promotes that feminism for me. But if you see again, everywhere that you see, you will see that magenta color in most of the places. Whether it's your mandirs, whether it's your dresses, whether it's your flowers, weddings, festivals.
Okay.
Gulal
Yes.
is not pink, it's magenta.
Yes.
And just because it's powdery, it becomes a little lighter, but it's nowhere close to pink. It's
Okay.
magenta. So naam bhi gulal hai, right? So that's why I term it as three colors.
Okay. Talking about colors, there is color of the year. Who decides that? Is it done more culturally or is it data backed?
Both.
Okay.
It's not that randomly somebody gets up and says that this is the color of the year. There is an entire study which goes behind it. For example, especially the global shifts that happen, like when there was pandemic, Pantone selected a certain color. There was a reasoning behind it. So yellow is a bright color, is a happy color. So grey is a color of calmness. Although for me, grey is the only color which doesn't have any positive qualities.
And why?
It's scientifically proven.
Okay.
If you've heard the famous sayings, grey building syndrome.
Okay.
I'm feeling grey today.
Okay. Can you explain that? Grey building syndrome?
Grey building syndrome is when you're feeling depressed inside. So if you'll
Okay.
realize, earlier there used to be no colors in the back of the house areas.
Yeah.
Whether it's hotels or whether it's offices, the back offices,
Yeah.
they would always be grey.
Okay.
And they would have no sunlight.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. So anybody sitting there
Yeah.
would start feeling very dull, would start getting very depressed. Those CCTV people and the security people who were just put in
Yeah.
a room for 12 hours.
Okay.
So this term developed from there, grey building syndrome.
Nice.
So
Okay.
that's why people started reducing the quotient of grey everywhere. I know your next question would be, because most people ask me this, is a lot of houses in India are becoming grey, both exterior and interior.
Yes.
Grey is the only color which has no positive qualities. Of course, when combined with the right shade in the right amount, it will not have a negative impact for sure. But it's not some color that you can just pick up. Like if it's a yellow, if I put a little bit of yellow in your this neutral space, it'll pop it up, right? But if I would put grey, it'll start making you feel dull. It's a funny thing that we're discussing this, because on Sunday somebody came to me, my better half chef's brother from Chandigarh, and he said my son's building his room again in 1.5 years because he says I've got bored. I said, how can somebody get bored? So he says, see, he's given me the example that you have 3 houses, so that is why you don't get bored, but
Okay.
I do.
Yeah.
She's like, so he was asking me that he's an elderly gentleman, so he was asking me, what do you do different as a color consultant that one doesn't get bored from the space? We don't get bored from the space, we get bored by seeing that drab color every day. So I told him that, sir, I guarantee you, like I got a little excited and I said, मैं शर्त लगा सकती हूँ कि उनका कमरा या तो न्यूट्रल होगा और 99% ग्रे होगा with no pop of colors, no color at all. He's like, right. That's the effect your brain has on your subconscious mind. If you see our trees also, the flowers also, they're nice and bright. You will not see those trees and flowers in Europe or in America.
Yeah.
There might be, but
Yeah.
their shades are different.
Different.
Right? So it affects you climatically, geographically, as well what colors we choose. So grey is actually a color which we are using, like on our international forum. We sometimes land up making a little fun that, as Indians, we follow trends blindly sometimes, and we don't have a logic behind it. And I remember during the pandemic only we were having this discussion, is when my teacher said that we use grey because of our climatic conditions, because it is so harsh that grey brings us that calmness, that peaceness, and we combine it with another color. There's no reason why you as Indians should be following us blindly and using it.
But I've seen a lot of teenagers come to us and they basically get their entire room done in grey.
That's because they've read somewhere that grey is a good color, or grey is a cool color.
Yeah.
Like cool, I don't mean blue-based cool. Cool, I
Yeah.
mean is it's a hip color.
Okay.
You know, if you have a grey room, you'll be the cool kid.
Okay.
So they've read it somewhere. They've followed a trend probably, but they wouldn't have a reasoning behind it. And you know, if I put you in a grey room for 5 days, trust me, you'll not be able to sleep well. Because subconsciously it will be, you know why a lot of times, especially as Indians, we change our bed sheets to white when we sleep.
Okay.
मेरे घर में होता है.
Right.
I've always seen it,
Yeah.
and I know most households
okay.
have. When you're sleeping, you
Yeah.
want your brain to
Turn off.
turn off,
Yeah.
not think. And white is a color, although we associate in normal color psychology as the
Yeah.
color of peace and so on and so
yeah.
forth. It's scientifically proven, I think in Germany, if I'm not mistaken,
Right.
somebody put their highest order criminals
Yeah.
in a white puffed room
Okay.
for days,
Yeah.
depending upon what they've done, so that they can start talking. You know why? Because when आप सोच नहीं पाओगे, आप मैनिपुलेट नहीं कर पाओगे, तो आप सच बोल दोगे. And that's what white does for you. That's why for the longest time, if you see, your hospitals were white, so that your doctors don't feel emotion, they can only focus on their work.
Practical that.
Right?
Yeah.
Alternatively, why the hospitals are becoming colorful today is because they realize that the healing is also slow. If you're in an all white environment, so if you're not feeling anything bad or extreme, you're not feeling anything good either. No.
Interesting.
So white becomes, that's why we sleep on those white sheets, and I've tried that. It
Okay.
makes a lot of difference.
Right.
Like you can sleep like this.
Interesting. So I will come back to the question that I asked. We digressed a little bit, but it's very interesting to see how these, especially grey color, which has taken big prominence. So coming back to the color of the year, what are the parameters that are taken into consideration when this is announced?
So when it's on the global level, then it's of course one, seeing the fashion trends and the other industries, what is happening in the world. One major, where we digressed is the COVID times.
Yeah.
So anything when something like this happens, like something global, a pandemic or something good on a global level, that's what affects the color industry as well.
Okay.
And then of course when it comes down to your own specific, like Asian paint announces their colors, so that's more cultural based, because like we know 2026 they're going more towards the earthier tones this year, this time. So I know when Asian selects certain colors, they'll take the learnings from them, like what they've found out.
So
and
data driven in
they're
that
data
case.
driven,
Yeah.
and then they will select a similar color what suits our palette more,
Right.
rather than just blindly following a global trend.
Okay.
But yes, it's data driven. They would start today, probably what's going to happen in 2027.
Okay.
With and it's astrological, it's political, it's what's happening in the fashion industry. It's everything put together that they keep seeing, the financial also, how the markets are going, because that's where your mindset as a human being comes in. So they have all that data, and that's when they announce.
Interesting. So let's get practical.
Okay.
How does color play a role in different spaces? Let's say residential, commercial, or schools for that matter.
I'll start ulta. If it's an office space, then it's as per the nature of your business, of your profession.
Okay.
If I explain from my profession only, as an architect or as an interior designer also, I used to do a certain kind of projects, hospitality based more. There might be somebody who does more of, let's say, hotels, or which is also hospitality, or residential. So if I was designing a space for office space for these architects only, it will be very different because of the nature of work that they do. Because the kind of people, the kind of clientele that come in, the vendors that come in, the team, that how they use it. What I mean by that is, how do you want those people to feel or behave in that space?
Okay.
What I mean by that behavior is, you want to feel calm, you want to feel agitated, you want them to just come and go, sort of a thing.
Right.
Will depend on the kind of shades we
Okay.
select. Like we recently did about 2-3 years back, we did this chartered accountant's office at start hours. They had a very small space. Now their problem was that people would not sit at their desk for a long time.
Okay.
They wanted to go helter-skelter because it was a very small congested space. Now normally what we would do is, for a chartered accountant's office, because you're doing a mind work, number work, we would probably play in the shades of blue.
Okay.
But this time we did different and we played in the shades of green, because we want them to feel calmer in that space.
Okay, I thought
and
money.
Yeah, but we wanted them, see, blue stimulates your mind, certain
Right.
shades of
Okay.
blue. So usually we land up where we have enough natural light coming in. So we usually land up using those shades for mind stimulating. But we used green because we understood the inherent problem that they were facing. And I do have a testimonial very proudly that the retention has gone from 15 minutes sitting on their desk to up to 2 hours.
Nice.
Then anyways, everybody needs a little off. Then coming to my hospitality spaces. Again, depends on the kind of space. For example, if it's like a QSR, so there's a reason why McDonald's has yellow and red. Yellow releases a chemical in your brain called serotonin, which makes you happy. What do you do when you're happy? Eat and drink. Red races your heart. It is the shortest color on the wavelength. So what they want to do is, like if I ask anybody, even a child, have you stayed in McDonald's for an hour? You'll say no. You'll eat and you'll go, right? So that's what the QSRs do, quick service restaurants.
Interesting.
If I'm doing a fine dine, and depending on again the cuisine, because my cuisine will define my target audience. Like I recently did a fine dine wherein my target audience is only above 40.
Okay.
Right? So I want them to feel comfortable. I want them to slouch in the chairs, order more, order 2 extra drinks, and when they order 2 extra drinks, they'll order 1 more dish, so that my APC goes up. So my purpose is very different. Similarly, if you're doing a hotel, not only I'm talking about particularly my country. When as an architect we were doing hotels in Kashmir, we would fight with them because those were boutique properties that I, even as a business traveler, I'm not coming to stay in a brown wooden cladded room. I'm coming here so that I feel culturally associated. I want to know who you are, so that when I go back I can at least say कि ये ceiling ऐसा था या ये colors ऐसे थे. So a lot of times we forget that not only just the target audience or how you want to feel, it is also the geographical location that affects the kind of colors. It might sound very strange, but it does affect. Last, because we do that the maximum, the residential part, it's pure personality of the people. It's your personality, your spouse's personality. We don't get into the children's bit more because they're still learning and experimenting. But yes, we do ask them what are their color choices, because a lot of times a lot of girls land up these days telling me we want blue.
Okay.
So that's a myth that pink is for girls and blue is for... That was started by some company as a marketing gimmick, and it has stayed there for the longest time. A lot of time now the parents are saying that we don't want a blue nursery or a pink nursery. We want a neutral nursery or a green nursery, because they realize that when we, of course, educate them that a child cannot see colors. When a child is born, from the first month to the first year, every few months, how many colors, like initially they can only distinguish between black and white, like the dark space and the light space. Then they start seeing 2-3 colors, then they see more colors and so on. So the child is not seeing anything.
So is it the exposure, or is it
the
development?
The development, their development. The nature has planned it in that way.
And also the other question, parents want neutral colors in a nursery. Is that good for the child?
It's good for the parents maybe. So it's their choice. Like I said, we educate them that उसको तो कुछ नहीं दिख रहा जब तक वो 1 साल का नहीं हो रहा या हो रही. आपको क्या करना? Because the mother has to sit there and nurse or take care, or they want their people to come in to meet the baby there. So we're designing for the parents. We're not designing for the child for sure.
Okay.
It's only when the child is 2, 3, 4 is when they can see. That time also they cannot tell you the liking.
Interesting.
So any space. Now if I go to a kitchen, I don't do blue kitchens inherently.
Okay.
For me, blue is not the color. Like even blueberries are purple.
Yes.
So if you come to think of it, blue in nature generally, and this is not me speaking, this is nature speaking. Blue in general for food is considered as dangerous food.
Okay.
So there are some wild food or wild fruits which are blue, but they are zehrile. So right. So blue in nature has said it's danger when it comes to food.
Right.
So I wouldn't do a blue kitchen.
Okay.
According to the amount of spices that we use, I'll use a lighter, warmer shade.
Okay.
So that even if there is AC, non-AC, you're feeling that calmness when you're cooking.
Interesting.
You know, if you've realized that some days when your mother is angry, the food is different, and when your mother is happy, the food is different.
What do you mean? It tastes better when she's angry?
It tastes better when it's spicier, yes, when she's angry. Definitely, or the salt is more. The recipe is the same, and probably they are also putting the same recipe, but there's something different. So eventually I need the person cooking, even if it's your cook, to feel calmer in that space so we ask who will cook, who will use the kitchen more, how do you use it, how is the food served, so that we understand how do you want to feel when you're in your own space.
Can you give me one do's and don'ts when you're choosing colors for interiors?
Do's, hire a color consultant. I would only say don't follow color trends blindly, because there is a huge gap. Yes, we do make our houses and spaces to show the world that we have arrived or we've achieved something. That's why we have housewarmings and the Greh Praveshas. At the same time, everybody cannot judge you on the basis of who you are. So make your houses specially as per what makes you comfortable. So that's don't follow your color trends blindly. Don't use too much of grays, because that's not who we are as Indians. And like I said, I'm not a therapist, but eventually that does affect your mental health at some point, which we don't realize, because you'll stop going to that room or that space. Use, if you're in more of a neutral color person, do add some pop of colors which help you feel right. Add greens bring in the nature, because nature always makes this guy sitting up here happier. And again, I'll repeat, hire a color consultant.
Okay. So can you give me some of the tips and tricks to introduce colors in a room which can make a small space look bigger and a large space cozier?
A large space cozier would be, if it's a living room, then probably add a bigger rug. Although what I'm saying is more towards the interior designing. Maybe add wooden flooring, so that makes it.
But maybe a color of that rug?
The color of that rug, definitely. But if it's like a living room which you use only occasionally, so a color may vary. And if you use it on an everyday basis, then a color may vary, because that's something that you see every day. In today's time and age, we have more of open living rooms in the apartments normally. So I would definitely say add on that wooden flooring, maybe like a nice walnut color wooden flooring, or a little darker shade. And add a nice rug on top of it, so that makes it more cozier. Throws, rugs, cushions, come to Furnishing Gallery. We'll help you choose the right color, because the minute you just change the color of your cushions, it helps you in making it more cozier. And if you can, this is a new concept that one of my clients only introduced, and now I follow it. Have summer and winter curtains. Because that makes because in winters you want those heavier, velvety, bolder colors which make you feel feel
More warm.
which seems to be generating that heat. And then in summer you want those light breezy colors and those curtains. So yes, that's something that I will be probably doing a short video separately, because it's so interesting to follow that during the Diwali times, when you do your house cleaning, change your curtains, sort of a thing. A small space to look bigger, I definitely personally color the ceiling not white, and I usually add a little bit of whether an off-white beige, or if it's a greyish tone, then that. Or my recent favorite color is that greige, which is a top color, or which is like a mushroom color, which gives the sense of grey, and yet it's in that warmer tone to feel. So the minute you make your ceiling and your walls the same color, the place will feel bigger, because the volume will increase in that.
This is, perhaps you've spoken about this quite a few times today, but which is one misused color?
Grey. And I think मैं किसी बात के लिए famous हूँ ना हूँ, I will get famous for talking against grey.
Another
thing, my tiles guy also don't show me grey.
Oh really?
They don't. The regular places that I go to, and even the fabrics people, they know कि इनको grey दिखा दिया तो हो गया काम.
Another thing that I want to talk about is, how India is really big on energy and alignment.
Yeah.
Vastu plays such a big role in our lives, whether it be a commercial property or it be a residential property.
Yeah.
Where do you think a color consultant, or is it good for a Vastu consultant to collaborate with a color consultant?
Absolutely. So, coincidentally, I was learning Vastu and recently, because I wanted to collaborate, and color is energy, emotion, so is Vastu, right? Vastu has certain significant colors defined on the direction wise.
Okay.
We are playing on that shade. So what my Vastu teacher taught me was incorporate the Vastu principles or the Vastu remedies in the interiors itself, instead of putting those ugly pyramids or things like that. So that's where it hit me more stronger. If you would have probably asked me this 3 months back, I would say no Vastu consultants.
Yeah.
But today I think very differently.
Okay.
That I can incorporate my colors as per, because I am telling you the right shade and the right combination that comes into it. Yes, the couple of them that I work with, there are scenarios where the behavior and the shade does not match with the Vastu alignments, but we've realized we eventually come to a conclusion with it. But yes, they beautifully go hand in hand, and I think what most people, and I still define this to people, that color consultancy doesn't mean that I'm going to make your space red, yellow, green, blue. I will give you the right shade.
Yeah.
So similarly, Vastu consultants, the more I'm educating them or speaking to them, brainstorming, is we are realizing that the minute they say Southwest mein red hona hai, somebody thinks that's stark red. It could be a dull red, carrying the same energy of red, but it could be a dull red. Or it could be combined in a way, whether it's in the form of your cushions, your bed back, your lampshades, maybe a rug. There are a million ways that one can do it. So that's where I come in and select that shade for them. So it's helping them, because a lot of time clients or interior designers or architects say no.
So big synergies between Vastu and color consultancy.
Yes.
Fantastic. Well, this has been a really interesting podcast. Before I let you go, we've started doing a little rapid fire.
Oh, okay.
And I think this is something that I do want to ask you. Is there a universal favorite color?
Yes. Sky blue.
Sky blue. Most overrated color?
Grey.
Most misunderstood color?
I would say olive green.
Okay. And why is that?
Most people, it's one of the most warmest color for our culture, and it's most ignored because people relate it to grey sometimes, or people say it's a very dull color.
Okay.
But when combined rightly, like I've made spaces with olive green and wine, and the minute it's combined with a beautiful shade, it brings up that royalty, that luxury so beautifully. So I definitely feel olive green.
Interesting. Okay, if you were a crayon, what color would you be?
Yellow.
Yellow. Why is that?
I don't think so. Even when I'm crying, if somebody asks me,
Yeah.
how are you? I'll say I'm okay, and I'll be smiling.
Yeah.
So when I look at myself, I feel sunshine.
Okay, that's wonderful. Finish this sentence. Design without color is.
Design without color is a body without soul.
Oh wow. Well, Mamta Khubani, thank you very much for taking the time out and doing this with me. Hue Culture is something which, you know, when I first heard about it was very interesting to me, because I personally deem myself to be colorblind, because there are so many shades of colors and you can never point to one. But how you said that each color sort of triggers a certain response in you. We all think and speak in color.
Right.
Every action or every space that we walk into sort of has a color association with it.
Yes.
And it is such an underrated element in our interior space as well.
Absolutely.
I wish you all the best, because this is something which I feel that all the architects and interior designers can incorporate in their projects.
Absolutely.
So thank you again for doing this with me.
Thank you so much.